We're excited about this upcoming season. We have, a couple veterans back. We have Harold Frey, who's a senior, who had a tremendous, junior season last year. He was all conference. We have another player from Livingston, Layden Ricketts, who had a very good junior. He was a junior college transfer. He obviously was a junior last year. We're looking huge things for him. His upcoming senior year, he can really shoot the ball. And obviously Devin Kirby, who's next to me, who had a very good sophomore season, and we expect huge things from him the next 2 years, but especially this year to take that next step. We have some other veterans, Michael Paulo and Aman Adamu, who are junior college transfers who will bolster our backcourt, good athletes. And another player, Jabril Bello, who's played really well, who plays the 5 spot. He's a junior college transfer, but he has 3 years, which we're excited about, really coach him and develop him. And then we have some freshmen. We have some freshmen. Caleb Bellich from Manhattan Christian, who's had some really good moments. Zach Hobbs is a freshman from Phoenix who's had some good moments. And then we got 2 foreigners. Finn Flute, 6'9" kid from Germany, who can really shoot the 3 and play inside. I think he's going to be a very good player. And Borja Fernandez from Spain, who's had some good moments too at the 4 spot. We have one player who has to sit out this year, Xavier Bishop, transferred from University of Missouri, Kansas City, who I believe he was the 3rd or 4th leading scorer in the WAC conference last year. And he's been pretty dynamic. We're expecting big things from him. He's got to grow, leadership-wise this year and his year off, and then obviously be able to take the reins next year from Harold Frey. But, we're excited. The guys have been really working hard. We've been practicing, about 5 times a week. I think we've had 7 total official practices. But the guys are really buying into what we're teaching. They're working hard. They're competing. They're making each other better. We're taking gradual steps. Obviously, we play a totally different style than what the guys who are returning are used to. And some of the new guys that have never played Division I, I think the level of intensity, we still got to pick that up. The level of intensity and toughness, that's what we're trying to build towards. But each week, we're seeing drastic improvements with our team, which I'm excited about.
What are maybe defensively? I know that was a little bit of a focus. Just maybe what are those things you're hoping to implement?
Mostly like keeping your guy in front of you. Being between your man and the basket, making teams score over us. And then obviously when the shot goes up, we got to get a lot more physical, a lot tougher, and rebound the basketball. We've seen stats. The top 4 teams in the Big Sky the last 10 years, they've all been the best defensive teams and best rebounding teams. And that's something where to get this program to that next step, which we're going to take, that's where we got to take that step is defensively and rebounding.
And I guess with Zeke and Quentin, kind of what are you hoping for them to take that next step, being sophomores this year?
Yeah, being sophomores, obviously they didn't play a ton as freshmen, but they're both very gifted athletically. They both got, big, strong bodies. They're athletic. They can play way more than, I guess, their capability, their ceiling is super high. It's our job as coaches to make them realize what their ceiling is and get them there. Athletically, they're talented. Now we just got to get, we got to get them tougher, more physical, and they've been doing a great job in the weight room, and they have gotten better at that. But I really think that the sky's the limit for those 2.
DK, just obviously this is kind of, you made a step last year as a sophomore and now going into your junior season. What have you had to do to just kind of improve between your sophomore and junior season?
Just adding more elements into my game. One thing that coach really, just wants me to be like more versatile, offensively and like defensively, just guarding on the perimeter, being able to play out on the perimeter, to just bringing a lot of different elements like to my game. With Jabril, with being out there too, just being able to play with a traditional 5-man that requires me to expand my game, and just get better, just on all aspects, and on both sides of the ball. So.
How do you plan just, involving Layden and kind of how do you hope the overall team develops in terms of shooting?
Obviously, with the 3-point line being moved back, we've got to get better shooting the ball. I bet every team in the country is probably saying the same thing. Defense right now at this point of the season is always going to be ahead of your offense. We've done a pretty good job making shots. Harold, Layden, the 2 freshmen, Caleb and Zach have made some. Borja, our 4-man, and Zeke, they've had their moments, shooting the basketball. I think that could be one of our strong points if we continue to improve on it. But obviously we're gonna be getting the ball down to DK and Jabril too. down on the block, and Finn, because I really think they can score down there, and they have their length and athleticism, which I think could be a major factor for us.
How is Amin adjusting to joining the team and kind of finding out kind of how he fits in?
Good. He's such a terrific athlete. Sometimes he'll just break plays off, but he's so athletic. It's one of his gifts, and we're just trying to teach him the spacing that we have in our offense, and I want him to get that first. Be disciplined, know where you're supposed to be, and then he can make plays out of that. And I think the last couple of weeks he's shown it's starting to grasp. He's starting to really take a hold of it. But he's very talented offensively.
Early on, is there kind of a certain identity that you're kind of hoping that your team kind of molds into?
Yeah, I want to be a physical defensive team. I want to be a physical defensive team that sits in gaps and makes you score over us. We're not giving up uncontested layups. We're not going to give up uncontested shots, and we're going to box out all 5 guys. And we've gotten better at it. We're still a work in progress, but that's one thing. Because if you can get stops and you're not taking the ball out of the net when the opposing team scores, it's way easier offensively to transition and get easy baskets.
Devin, what have you noticed just about that transition defensively? Going from what you guys did previously to what you're doing now.
Well, that's our emphasis. Just as like defensive rebounding. It makes the offense way easier too. Like if you get stops, you can run out of transition and get quick scores, and just the intensity in practice. We just that's just the main emphasis, is just to get stops and just to make it hard for the opposing team and the opposing offense. So, like I think that Coach Ray, just like he harped on it a lot. It's just that's our main emphasis this year, just the defensive side of the ball. So.
I know you guys maybe in previous years you guys talked about a lot about defense as well, but what do you maybe think is the difference in terms of how you're approaching it, in practice?
The main thing I would just say is just the intensity. That's just the main difference. You know what I mean? No one wants to be a bad like a defensive team, but in practice from this year, that's just the main thing that I'm seeing. It's just the intensity and the drills, and what we do is all just focused around the defensive side of the ball. So.
Coach, first 20-game Big Sky schedule for you as a head coach. What is that going to be like for you, looking not too far ahead, but just knowing that you're going to have to face every single opponent in the conference twice?
Yeah, 20 games, that's a lot, for a league schedule. I think in the Big West, I think the most we had was 16, I believe. And so, the one thing it doesn't afford you as many non-conference games. And that's kind of why we loaded up on our non-conference. Our non-conference schedule's tough. It's brutal. We play probably 2 of the best mid-major teams in the country, Utah State and UNC Greensboro. And both of them are going to be on the road, and Grand Canyon. Add that, it could be the 3rd toughest. And so, that's something that I wanted to prepare our guys for, that 20-game league schedule. But I think, they're used to it. Harold, a lot of our veterans, they've already been through it. They've been to all the places in the Big Sky. Me and our staff has pretty much been to every place. But the newcomers, they're going to have to adjust to it. And it is different. Once you start league, it's a whole different ball game. But I think the 20-game league schedule, I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
What else stands out to you just about the non-conference schedule?
The different styles that we're going to play. Like UNC Greensboro, they'll press, they'll zone. Grand Canyon's going to get after you. The environment's, crazy. Utah State, they're one of the best coach teams in the country. When you talk about pace and cutting and physicality, that's going to be something our new guys, especially our freshmen, their eyes are going to be opened up, on November 5th. But I think it's going to be great for them. And all those games, they're going to prepare us, for going to Montana, for going to Weber, to go to Eastern Washington and places like that.
DK, what's kind of your excitement level? Where's your kind of mindset going in the next couple of weeks? You're already going to be starting the 2019-20 season as you. Just what are kind of your feelings as the season kind of approaches?
Yeah, well, I've loved it. Like it's coming up quick. Like it just seems like summer was yesterday when we all got on campus and would meet each other for the first time. But from that first moment, just in even the summer workouts, I could just tell that the energy is different, the culture is different. what the staff brings as a whole in terms of their energy and their attitude, and the player development has just been great, and I've loved it ever since I stepped back on campus here just in the summer, and I'm just ready to play against another team. We've been battling each other for a while now, so it'll be good to face up against another opponent and to just implement what we've been working on these past couple weeks, and I can't wait to get back out on that floor. So.
Well, exciting time of year. In practice mode, everybody's 0-0 and just anxious to get started. Lots of practices we're starting to get in and got some experience, and one of them to my right, and love our experience that we have returning, but we've also got a mixture of newcomers that I think is going to make us really well balanced. But strong post play and our guard experience I think is going to help us, but we're defensive minded right now, so lots of defensive questions.
Well, what can you say just about the experience that you have? I think you only lost, 2 seniors, I suppose, so lots of girls coming back. What can you say just about the experience?
Yeah, I think from a practice standpoint, it allows your practices to be fairly efficient with your time management and getting drill to drill, just really getting into the bulk of what you're trying to accomplish. So, when you're taking an 8-minute drill and you're trying to get reps, how the value of those reps that you're able to attain. And I just think from day one with this group and the mixture of the newcomers, it's been really, really competitive. And, that's always a good sign when you've got super competitive practices, high intensity, the volume, the communications really improved, and anxious to get out in front of our fans and have them have a chance to see them because they're working really hard.
I guess toward the end of last season, I think you talked about the juniors really kind of taking that step forward later on in the year. Maybe how have you seen that translate into this year?
Yeah, you just some of the things that you'll see them on the sideline, like Oleana grabbing a Darian or an underclassman on, this is how we go about, things, and just kind of taking them under their wing. I think that's a huge thing of just taking the ownership to the next stage of coach doesn't always have to say this. I'm going to say it right now. These are the things that we're about, and I just think Fallon has been a really big impact on our practices, but also as a leader. I think there's a really great balance with our captains, with Ole, Blair, and Fallon. They all bring something to the table that's very different, and so that's what we need to get out of them on a daily basis. But once again, it's a Fallon taking a Cola Bad Bear. We've got newcomers that are it's the first time in a drill, and so they're explaining even on the sidelines. So we're able to jump into things and really get after it and put the expectation on the upperclassmen to make sure they're picking it up. And not waiting on anybody. And I love just the anxiousness of our underclassmen. They're going so hard, and our upperclassmen are doing so much of the teaching, and I think that's where it gets to be really fun.
What was it like coaching against Fallon, and then what's it like having her now on your side?
I'm really happy with now. So really challenging to guard her. I think she's just a great example of going hard. She goes hard in everything she does. Sometimes we're slowing her down on offense because she's just going to go so hard. She wants it so badly, but she also wants it for her team so badly. And I think that's just a sign of a selfless leader and teammate. And we're just really grateful to have her a part of the program and a part of the squad. I think she brings a lot to the table, but there's so much beyond her talent that makes us better. And I just love the character of that kid.
What did you notice out of her in terms of her growth last year, just being with the team?
Well, the first thing that is really noticeable is just how vocal she is. I just remember our first workout we had, and it was an individual workout. It wasn't an entire squad, but there was a few people at one end, a few people at the other end, and Fallon is just communicating. The whole gym can hear it, and so all of a sudden the other end's starting to get louder too. It just becomes naturally contagious, and you don't even realize you're doing it based on somebody else communicating. It's like when Ole picks up, she knows, hey, if I don't pick up with great energy, that's going to carry over to the other four. So when she gets after it, everybody else on the floor is ready to be attack-minded. And I just think that was the first thing that Fallon brought to the table was her communication, but just the effort piece, everybody started competing harder.
Ole, what can you just say about your expectations for this season, for your senior year?
I expect a lot out of this season. I think in practices I've seen we give a lot of effort and energy, and that's the good part about it. We bring a lot to the table on the defensive end, and I'm excited about that. I expect a lot out of this year, and I expect a lot of the newcomers to play in their role, and I think it'll be a fun season. I'm excited.
What can you learn from last season and kind of apply it to this season? I'm assuming you're kind of motivated to continue to improve.
I think our main focus should be on the defensive end. I know our offense will come because we have a lot of offensive threats on the team this year, but I think our main focus needs to be on the defensive end.
And what specifically on defense can you think you can be better at?
The three, guarding the three.
What's been the biggest thing for you from your freshman season to senior season that you've picked up or that you've had to improve on, that you've had to grow? What aspect of your game maybe that you've needed to improve on from a freshman year to a senior year?
Outside of my game, my vocal and leadership skills have developed quite a bit. I was extremely quiet my freshman year, and so having to step up each year in that leadership role has been something I've made a lot of growth in.
What kind of impact do you think kind of the underclassmen can make on this year's team?
I think they just bring a lot to the table on the offensive end, and their defense, their defensive energy is what they bring too. And they pick up things, and even if they don't, they still bring energy with that and effort with that. So,
Coach, with the senior-laden team putting the schedule together, why don't you just talk a little bit about the schedule that lies ahead of you?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that this is the toughest schedule, preseason schedule we've ever had. And, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it when you have 5 seniors on your squad that even if we are a little bit rattled, I think that we can handle it. I think we can test ourselves. I think it's going to prepare us in a great way. And our objective is to win the conference. So regardless of what our preseason looks like, I think we're going to be super competitive in every game. We're going to have our hands full, but we're gonna test them early, and like I said, this team we decided on that because we felt like we could handle it with the experience, with the confidence in this group. We will be battle tested, but we will be ready.
What does the Big Sky schedule, or just the Big Sky League, look like this year from your standpoint as a head coach, looking at the different teams? Because there were a lot of people that have left some different teams, but just your team stacking up against the rest of the Big Sky.
I have no idea, to be honest. It's a really unique year with how many great players graduated last season. So I think it's up for grabs. And, we have a lot of experience returning, but we're also going to have to prove ourselves every single time we step on the floor, just like everybody else. So our job's to get better today, make sure tomorrow we're better than we were today. And if we can do that, I like our chances this season.
You guys were able to get to the NCAA tournament 3 years ago, and so how much of an itch is there to get back there?
Well, I think there's always an itch. I think it's about reaching the potential of your group, and this team really cares about each other. This team is really, really competitive. But like I said in the opening statement, I think this team's bought in about being a great defensive team, and that's where your consistency has to be. And the season that we did win it with the 3 games at the tournament, we had to be very solid and very consistent on the defensive end of finding ways to get stops. And Ole addressed the 3-point line. This is a conference, this is a league that's been great from the perimeter, but we also needed a better job of finishing plays. And we're going to be a team that's going to scramble, they're going to protect each other, they're going to rebound, and we are not going to give up on a play. Those are the teams that I'm going to be really excited to coach. We want to out-effort people. Results will take care of themselves.
I think we bring a lot to the table, and I think it's important for us to focus one day at a time, and we will get there if we focus on that one day at a time and compete.
What are you seeing out of Martha right now?
A lot. I think she's really turned the corner of, sometimes that first year, not even having been able to play for a year, a new system. She just really turned the corner of she's not thinking the game now, and she's just playing it. I think her defense has really improved. I think she's bringing a physicality on that end of the floor that we really need at that position. I think she's been really consistent on ways to score for us offensively. We've talked a lot about being attack-minded, getting to the foul line on that end of the floor. But we're gonna challenge her like everybody else of who's gonna get us stops, who's gonna be able to shut somebody down. We cannot have kids going 30 points or putting up career highs against this team. We've got to find ways as a team to do that. But Martha has been really, really consistent for us.